Alright, so we replaced Justin.
Good boy, Shiloh.
Good boy, Shiloh. He's a good boy. And he smells like papaya and coconut.
First sentence. And then
Alright, guys. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Whatever Man, a show where we talk about whatever. And, you know, this is going to be a fun episode, I have a feeling. You know, the at SalStyles87, yours truly on all of your favorite platforms.
At Manny Beeson on Instagram and TikTok. At Manny Beeson _ at Twitter.
At JD Angel _ at Twitter. Not Twitter. On Instagram and TikTok.
You had one job.
I already messed
job.
up. I don't know what happened there.
No, you're good. It's going to show up here anyway. See, right there. Okay, great. So, anyways, something I want to talk about is, it was brought to our attention on our last episode at 5 minutes and 4 seconds, while we were talking about the unknown and creepy stuff, a orb-like figure moved from right about here, roughly, and worked its way down. And Manny and Justin seem to think that it touched me until I said, no, it doesn't, because it looks like it came here, roughly, and disappeared around this area. And then I told that to Justin, and then he believed me.
All I got to say is whatever, man, to that.
Yeah, so if you got to check it out, thank you. Let us know what you think. Do you think it's an orb? Do you think it's dust? I don't think it's dust, because dust just doesn't disappear right around here and move in a way like that. It feels dusty.
And if it was
like
dust,
that.
I feel like you would see more of it.
Yeah,
you
and
would.
there's a light.
I want this. We always have the ambiance background.
Because you have the light coming through that way, so you'd see a whole bunch.
You would see plenty, exactly.
And it's not a bug because it's translucent. It's like
You can see through it.
you can see through it.
Yeah. Translucent. Big words from the one they call JD Angelos on Twitter.
On Twitter, that's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, that kind of stuff is really weird because it just shows up randomly. You know, a lot of people will say it's a camera defect, but the way it floated, it just definitely seemed like something was traveling, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, this is
It
weird.
manifested itself and then disappeared. So much could come with explanation, but
We did not edit it.
we're never gonna know for sure.
We didn't even see anything coming through, and we just happened to not even see it while like the post-production was going on. You know, somebody saw it, thank you for watching it, and then brought it to our attention, and we're like, holy crap, we have to check this out. And I find it kind of funny that during that time, I was getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember?
And we weren't feeling it.
That's why I told him, I was like, it touched you. Regardless if it visually didn't see it,
No.
it probably disappeared and then just went.
It was in the
It
area.
touched me inappropriately, and I don't like that.
Oh, Manny.
That was inappropriate.
But it was in the area, your general area, so you were able to feel
Like
it, the
genital
energy.
area? That's weird.
Yeah, I said your general area.
But yeah.
But obviously, our regular topics still aren't really around for us to talk about, so we're going to continue this trend of the creepy supernatural stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
And,
Yeah.
you know, obviously, talking about that orb in our video has really been dogging at us since we found out about it. My cousin Troy is the one that actually told me about it. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
taking
Troy.
the time, Troy, for watching our video. You the man. But
You're getting a gift.
we don't have the funds for that.
The gift is thank you.
Oh.
From us.
Thanks.
On
Hey,
the
thanks,
show.
man.
Not sponsored by anybody.
Not sponsored by anything.
No, but like, I mean, we talk about that stuff, and that's a way of, certain people think that that's a way of inviting that kind of stuff in. Hopefully, whatever we invited to this house knows that we ain't the ones to fuck with.
Yeah.
But my boy Sal here,
Come at you.
my boy Sal here is terrified of that kind of stuff.
I'm terrified of bees. Not that kind of stuff.
Okay, I was watching videos.
His
about these,
hairline
actually.
keeps going farther back every day
Why do you think
since
I
that
wear
episode.
beanies?
Since that episode. The
No.
shine is real.
The Shining.
The shine.
It's right here.
Here's Sal.
Here's Sal.
His forehead.
My 5 head, if you will.
But there is a conspiracy theory that I heard about that kind of messed with me a little bit, and especially with the evidence behind it, and it ties in with something that a lot of us are familiar with, which is depression.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that. But one of the biggest stars, especially for me in Sal's younger age, was Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
Avril
loved her.
Lavigne was huge.
Still love her.
Where I grew up in my area,
That's dust. That's dust. Anyways, go ahead.
where I grew up in the area of Connecticut where I'm from, nobody really listened to Avril Lavigne besides maybe like the 5 white kids that went to my high school, because the majority of my high school was all urban kids. But I knew who she was. Like, you weren't a person that's alive our age and didn't know who she was.
Correct.
Anyway, you know, a lot of things have been brought up against Sony as a company themselves, and the way they treat their artists and how awful it is. And a lot of Avril Lavigne's earlier music was very punk rock type music, and then there were certain times where you would see like her perform like really sad songs. So the conspiracy theory is that Avril Lavigne at one point got so depressed, she had to be hospitalized, and while recovering from her depression, her grandfather died, and her grandfather were very, very close. During that time, she had done a performance at a live show, and the fans were very concerned with her mannerisms and how she was behaving, because she was crying on stage during a performance of one of her songs. Time goes by, and the conspiracy theory is that Avril Lavigne suffered from depression so bad that she actually killed herself because she was going through depression, and because she was depressed that her grandfather had passed away. But Sony knew how big of an artist she was, so they didn't want to deal with the aftermath of her being deceased. And the conspiracy is that Sony Entertainment hired her body double that they had for the majority of her contract to take her place and become Avril Lavigne. And over time, now this is where it gets a little tricky for me, because my understanding for how people grow, it's the same thing with musicians. They're not going to make the same type of music their entire career.
That's correct.
Eventually, they're going to want to dabble into some other genres.
Evolve over time.
Exactly. So the biggest argument was that somebody took a side-by-side picture of what Avril Lavigne looked like back then and what she looks like right now. And the eyes are either farther or closer than from each other. The nose is a little lower or higher. The forehead's a little bigger or smaller. I don't really remember. I don't really remember the exact details, but there are differences. Very vague, but there are differences. And when it comes down to it, you'd have to think, like, how could they get away with something like this, you know? How could they hide the death of an actual, like, superstar from the world and then put her stunt double in to just take over? Like, it's not like she could just walk away. I mean that could be another possibility. Maybe she just wanted to walk away
And just disappear on the face of the planet. And she's
But-
still alive. She's just...
Yeah, but the conspiracy
Off the
theory
radar.
is that she killed herself.
Right.
My other argument against it kind of is like, how would her parents be okay with it? But we don't know who her parents are, and by all we know is they only cared about the money. So they were like, you guys will continue to get paid even after her death because we continue her character.
And then they pay them to shut up.
Exactly. Hush money.
Hush money.
that's a thing. And it kind of raised flags when the song Hey Hey You I Don't Like Your Girlfriend came out, because that was significantly different than anything else that she's put out prior to that. And then that's when people started to think about it. And Justin's got pictures right now of comparisons side by side. Justin, what do you see? What are your findings?
So from the comparisons, the main like differences that I see are like her nose.
Avril, not Avril.
Avril. Her nose are like the bridge is definitely different. It's like I think a little like more wider, I guess. And along with like her nose here, like I don't know, I can't really think of the words right now for like this part of
The nostrils. There you go, man.
Good job.
The nostrils.
Now, would you think that some people would argue surgery?
That's what it could be. From a lot of the pictures I see, she does like look alike, and I
People have
personally
doppelgangers,
think
man.
as she got older, she got hotter.
But I mean, obviously she was a teenager then, and as a grown woman,
Yeah,
women grow up and they develop.
So do men.
exactly. She was very.
Justin, not yet. He still has his body from 16.
Well, I do look like I'm 16.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But he's a man.
Oh man.
I mean,
Man.
I mean,
SpongeBob.
it's very not out of the realm of possibilities, but it is also very far fetched. I believe
It's a very weird
That's what I think.
thing.
it's a very weird. It's a very fucked up thing that
There's the
a
first
lot
estimate.
of artists that are separated from record labels would not put past record labels like Sony.
And it's Sony. Sony
Yeah.
has so many conspiracies against
Yeah,
them.
because
They own like everything.
they own literally everything.
You just
because
don't know
you
about it.
because you think the artist is signed to Interscope, but
Who owns
Sony
Interscope?
Sony might be a majority owner of Interscope. I don't know. That's just the first label that came to mind, so that's the one I said.
I wouldn't
I
mind
recently saw something that we saw something that basically talked about Sony and how many labels that they own, and it is ridiculous. They
Yeah.
literally own
lot.
everything.
A lot. Like Michael Jackson's label,
Yeah,
they own that.
Yeah.
Prince, his label.
yeah. Like
own
Michael
that.
Jackson and Prince were huge like advocates for their feelings
Goosebumps
towards
again.
Sony. What?
I'm getting chills. I don't have like goosebumps visually, but I got chills.
I think something's wrong with your body. Maybe you're turning into a woman.
Or maybe that
Hormones.
I'm turning into a woman.
At least you can.
Apparently,
agree.
women get chills more than men.
They do.
I've
because
had, you
they're
know,
cold a lot.
previous ex-girlfriends that got plural, that got chills, you know, a lot. So, I don't know. Some people will say it's anemic. Some people will say it's lack of iron. Some people will say,
I do eat a lot of cereal.
are you a woman?
What?
What does that
I
do
don't
with
get. I don't get cold that easy.
You don't get cold. Oh. Yeah, he doesn't get cold that easily. He just walks out in the wintertime with no coat or anything. It's like, this is warm. This is like...
I don't understand how it's possible because you have like no meat on your bones.
I don't know what.
He eats a lot of
I
cereal.
can't explain a lot of things that happen in my life. I'm a superhuman.
There's a lot of things that I can't even explain for you.
We've told it in a previous episode.
Yeah, just smile and nod and just be like, oh, Sony probably owns you too. But yeah,
We're gonna have to
Sony...
cut this.
No, we don't have to cut
Nah,
that.
I'm just kidding.
Sony they own a lot of things, and Michael Jackson and Prince were really big on displaying the fact that there are evil people out there. Now, I'm not saying that Sony's evil. So if Simeon's listening to this, pump your brakes.
He's evil.
But I'm not saying that whatsoever. So, I mean, like, I don't want Sony coming after me and doing some crazy stuff if these conspiracies are true. I'm straight up saying this is what I heard from conspiracy theorists. That Michael Jackson and Prince spoke very heavily against the people who work for Sony I mean, you've heard that, Manny. I don't know if Justin was with us that day, but it's crazy to think that what happened to them both, how they were OD'd suddenly after speaking up
Age.
at a very young age, it's just too coincidental in my opinion.
Ooh, I got another one to talk about. So do you guys know what Scientology is?
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
He is not Scientology, but he is a Scientologist.
Tom Cruise is the man.
He's like the walking epitome. Like he's
Of
the
Scientology.
he is the billboard of Scientology when it was first, brought up. But go ahead.
I mean, I guess you could say that in the public eye, he made Scientology relevant as far as being known. But I guess Scientology's been around since before you and I were born.
I believe it.
But, so, a while back, I think it was Sony who created a movie, and do you remember the movie Along Came Polly?
Yes.
He had that fat friend that kept throwing up shots and saying white chocolate. Do you remember that actor?
No.
I forget his name, but anyway.
Put in the comments.
Maybe Alexa knows.
Hey Siri, who played the friend
This one
of Ben Stiller in the movie Along Came Polly?
I don't really know.
All right.
Alexa, who are the actors in Along Came Polly?
The cast of Along Came Polly includes Ben Stiller, Jennifer Aniston, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Deborah
That dude.
Messing, Alec Baldwin, Hank Azaria, and Brian Brown.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Owned by Sony.
He played the head guy of Scientology because he kind of looked like the man that started the whole Scientology thing. The Church of Scientology sent multiple threats for this movie not to be released, and for basically telling them something bad was going to happen if they decided to release it. So, long story short, they released it, and then out of nowhere, that actor, Justin, his name?
Philip
Seymour
Hoffman.
I'm not Justin.
That's why I pointed at Justin.
I know, but I didn't hear you say Justin, his name. I just heard his
Philip
name.
Seymour Hoffman.
There you go.
He suddenly was found dead in his house, overdosed. That is crazy.
Isn't it?
Can you find anything about that, Justin?
I'm looking for it right now.
So strange.
Just Google the death of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
So strange. There's a Wikipedia page just for a list of conspiracy theories.
I believe it.
Just straight up. That's it. Just a list. I have a fun one. If we are finished with that one,
I'm just looking for it real quick, unless you want to move on while I look for it.
we'll circle back
Yeah,
while Justin's
that's
looking
what
that
I
up. This one's quick anyway. One conspiracy theory that I thought was really funny to think about was brought up by, what's his name, Shane Dawson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, famous YouTuber, talks about a lot of conspiracy theories. He's probably surprised to this day that he's still alive based on the stuff that he talks about. But, that being said, there's one that he brought up one day, about 2 years ago. My ex-girlfriend showed me this, and it was a conspiracy theory about Mattress Firm. I thought that was really funny because it makes sense. Now, the way the conspiracy theory works is Mattress Firm as a company sells mattresses. How often do people buy mattresses? Once every, I want to say 3 years is like the recommendation. I want to say it was. Maybe longer than that. I can't remember.
I heard it was 10.
It might be 10. It might be some absurd number. I'm probably thinking like rotation of the mattresses like every once a year or something. I don't know. Either way, you don't buy mattresses often. So when you drive by a Mattress Firm store, usually it's empty inside. You don't have a lot of business going on. You drive a couple miles down the road, and guess what you see? Another Mattress Firm. You drive by a couple miles further down the road. What do you see? Another
McDonald's.
mattress firm. Maybe a McDonald's next to it. Thank you, Justin. But that being said, there's a lot of mattress firms out there, and a lot of them don't have customers inside of them. Now, in one of Shane Dawson's videos, you see footage of him actually driving around, and he's like, there's a mattress firm, there's a mattress firm. Weird. I personally used to work in Orange, Connecticut, that leads right into Milford, and in that stretch, I used to drive down from where I worked down to Milford so I can get to Sonic's, because Sonic's is not in our area, and I really like Sonic's. But it had 3 mattress firms in a 15 to 30 minute drive.
Jeez.
3 mattress firms on a straight shot down Boston Post Road. Weird. Now, here's where the conspiracy theory comes in. People think that mattress firm is owned by drug dealers, maybe cartels, stuff like that. And mattress firm is a front because maybe there's some kind of basement, maybe there's some kind of storage area that could be storage of overstocked mattresses. But what do drug dealers and such usually do with mattresses? They stash the cash. Right?
That is legit. I've definitely heard about this.
Yes. And it makes sense. And again, I'm not saying it's true. So those of you that work for Mattress Firm as a corporation, don't come at me. I'm just relaying what I heard that I'm interested of, listening to. And I'm just sharing the message. I'm not saying you're a drug company. I'm not saying you're bad people. I'm sure you have a lot of good people that work there. Maybe your commissions are really good for your salespeople. I don't know. Maybe you're a great company to work for. But it's really weird that you have a lot of mattress firms all over the state.
Literally, that video that Shane Dawson did in a 4-corner drive, there were 3 mattress firms right across from each other.
That's
Why?
pretty crazy.
Why? Why?
Why?
Why?
Why that close together?
Why are you
Why?
going to pay rent
Why?
for that much? It's not like you're a franchise. Not that I know of.
It's crazy. It's like the necessity behind it. It doesn't make sense. Especially being in retail for the past 10 years of my life. I know how business works, and Best Buys don't put Best Buys close to each other for a reason, because they don't want other Best Buys to become competition to the other Best Buy that's in that location.
Yeah,
That's why most of the time Best Buys are about an hour away from each other, on average.
Usually, like, 30 minutes is probably... Well, no, from North Haven to Orange is about 20 minutes apart. But
that North Haven is a city, so that it would make sense why they would definitely have one there, because North Haven is a city, whereas Waterford, Connecticut,
it's an island, basically.
Yeah.
Not a real island, but that's what terminology.
the store in that location is literally an hour away in any direction to another Best Buy.
Right. And it's not like Mattress Firm is Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, you have multiple Dunkin' Donuts down one stretch. There's like 3 or 4 right on Route 12. Like,
But
in
they're
a
all
3-mile distance.
they're all busy
But
all the
they're
time.
always busy because, one, it's a franchise, so maybe one owner owns all of them, or maybe there's different owners that own them, but they are constantly busy. It's true. So, like, the clientele is there. It needs to be done.
There's a mattress firm right down from the Waterford Best Buy. Right down.
Literally right there.
Right
Yep,
across
right there.
Right
There's
across
also
the
one in
street. Right, there's one in Groton. And driving to Dunkin' Donuts right down the street from Best Buy, you have to drive past that mattress firm. And whenever I drive past that thing, they're always having sales, but there's never anybody in there. And I've been to a mattress store. They literally have one employee working most of the time.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
they're probably like in the basement playing like poker or something like that,
Or
Yeah.
selling drugs.
I wasn't gonna
No, so like the conspiracy theory behind it, basically the way it was stated was that mattress firms are the new laundromats for money, because that's what mobsters used to do back back when mobsters were a thing in the 60s, I guess.
Money
And it
laundering.
can still happen behind the scenes.
Money laundering. They would, the laundromat would be the cover, and that's where they would clean their money through, because they would put the money into the business and pull it out, and that's how they would clean their money, and then that's how they would get away from paying taxes on it as well. So
Yep, it's probably the same
that's
idea.
that's what mattress firms could be. I mean, like Sal said, we're not saying any of this is true.
No accusations.
That's why we're saying these are just conspiracies. Did you find something, Justin?
I was going to say I couldn't really find much for the
Why
Seymour
are you looking
Hoffman
up
movie.
Paul McCartney?
But, but the reason I'm
You had
looking
one
up
job.
Paul McCartney is because I wanted to go back to the thing of like what Manny was saying with Avril Lavigne,
Okay.
of how like she could have committed suicide back in the day and they replaced her. That reminded me of Paul McCartney, of how he could have been replaced by some dude named Billy Shears. And I remember learning about that back in my
I heard
music
about that
class.
too.
I have
And
not.
So Paul McCartney in 1960 something, I forget, was in a car crash,
Poor guy.
and it was told that he died, but he ended up saying that he was alive and all that.
Oh.
But you don't want that mass hysteria and stuff going on like that, so they're like, oh, he's alive, and they replaced him with this dude, and like, I don't know, it does seem pretty like you can see changes, like with the comparisons, like
similar
you
haircuts.
can...
The-
So if I got a fro, then I'd be like, I could totally replace someone. I
the-
can replace Ben Wallace.
You can replace Ben Wallace and be the next Detroit Pistons superstar.
We were watching Four Brothers.
Great movie.
Great movie. But and it gets like crazy too. But I'm not gonna explain like all of it. There's their album for the Beatles. The once this loads, because my keyboard sucks.
Does your apostrophe button work?
Abbey.
Because my apostrophe button doesn't work.
Actually, no, it does. But this doesn't connect.
Abbey Road.
Abbey Road.
Classic.
Who does Paul McCartney play as? He plays as the dude that was in the casket. Or like, I forget what you call it. Because let me see, I can't really think of what it's called.
I have to ask my buddy John about that because the Beatles is his favorite band.
Like, I'm not saying I believe it, but it is pretty crazy.
Interesting to think about. Isn't it?
Paul Abbey Road. Let's see, like
Conspiracy.
Paul
Hold on.
I got one job.
is
The Beatles. Abbey Road. Conspiracy. Paul is dead. Wikipedia page.
Mhm.
Paul is Dead is an urban legend and conspiracy theory alleging that Paul McCartney of the English rock band The Beatles died on November 1966, weird, and was secretly replaced by a lookalike. The rumor began circulating around 1967, but grew in popularity after being reported on American college campuses in late 1969. Proponents based the theory on perceived clues found in Beatles songs and album covers. Clue hunting proved infectious and within a few weeks had become an international phenomenon. From Wikipedia as a source. Weird. Oh. The funeral procession on the cover of Abbey Road.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean? What does that
Because
even
they all played
mean?
like the people from a funeral session. Like,
In the picture?
yeah. Like one of them, he's the grave digger, and then
He's the grave digger.
I forget who the
One's the Undertaker.
The Undertaker.
Guy in all white.
Yeah, that's John. John.
Yeah.
Then Ringo was I forget, but Paul plays as
The
dude
person
who
in the
died.
casket.
Yeah, the person in the casket.
Hmm.
And like, there's little things in like the whole entire thing too. I think there was something on the license plate or something.
That hint at it.
That hints at stuff like that, just little cues and little clues.
Now, do you think people are just taking it and blowing it out of proportion?
I think they are, but it is pretty crazy to think about.
Do you think that it's true?
The conspiracy theory?
Yes.
No.
You don't think it's true?
But it is crazy to think, like, how, like, he does look a lot different than from before.
The one thing that I can say about that is Paul McCartney was bigger than the world at that time. So somebody that was a lookalike like him, if he got offered the chance to step into Paul McCartney's shoes,
Big shoes to fill.
he would probably take it
Makes
in
a
a
lot of
heartbeat.
Oh, in a heartbeat. It's like, yeah.
Because you're going to be essentially the most famous person in the world at that time.
You would be the most famous person in the world, but you would have to be a damn good musician also.
Well, damn good guitars.
So weird that you have to be a lookalike and a really good guitarist at the same time.
Not necessarily, because, I mean, if you think about it, the label could just take care of that part.
But live concerts?
They don't have to plug in his guitar. They can make it look like it's plugged in and have somebody in the back of the stage, behind the stage, actually playing the guitar. It's kind of like when
That's a real thing.
remember when we saw when we were watching the movie about the Temptations, how the one Temptation was really drunk on stage, so they dimmed the light on him and they had somebody else singing for him in the back of the stage.
I believe at that point I went to my room.
Well,
It was a long movie. And I was tired.
it's the Temptations.
I mean, I
They
was
had
interested in watching
great
it, but I had to
songs.
wake up really early.
My girl. Great song.
So a lot of people seem to think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are like some of the head leaders of the Illuminati.
Because they do a bunch of, like, this stuff and all that.
They're super rich.
And in their lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, even Beyonce touches bass on it on one of her songs, saying that it's really funny with the Illuminati stuff. I mean, the fact that she acknowledged it, she obviously knows that people are talking about it.
Oh yeah.
But there's so much that people invest into making proof of it that it's so hard to decipher, like, what's fact and what's fiction. I mean, there was one. Remember that picture that was going around when she did that Super Bowl performance?
Yeah.
And she just looked like brolic, like something had possessed.
Angry.
Something had possessed her. Like,
Came a lot of
beastly.
memes out of that, too.
She's ready to really fuck somebody up.
Another something else. So, like, obviously, the Illuminati, a lot of it, what it has to do is people that are in higher power and that pretty much control everything.
They're unknown.
One of the things
You did that to yourself.
that I heard is that when they proposition an artist to join the Illuminati, and if they say no, they take out that artist or actor, what have you, whatever they are, and replace them with a lookalike or a lookalike that they can control. And sometimes it's not even just a full person.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
What's that name of that artist that was like talking like on camera, and she was just like normal, bubbly, blah 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 blah, and then off camera somebody just like walks around or something like that, and she just stops.
Cardi B.
It was Cardi B, right?
It was Cardi B on the red carpet.
Don't you think about them all?
She kind of. It looks like she had snapped out of it. So remember.
Why?
Remember, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the movie Get Out.
I haven't seen it, but
In the movie Get Out, basically they brainwash people.
Sees no movies.
I
Yeah,
don't.
he
I don't
watches-
really watch
He
movies.
just watched the 40-year-old version tonight.
I did.
It is 2020.
That movie came out in what, 2007?
I don't watch movies.
Damn it, I lost train of thought.
You were talking about Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Oh, yeah, it seemed like, so in the movie Get Out, you know, they essentially brainwash black people and then somehow bring the subconscious of a white person into that black person. And then that white person continues to live out their life in that black person's body.
Whoa.
But a
Spoiler.
flash from a
I think I
camera
know the spoiler, actually.
can cause them to snap out of it. So like the black dude just starts going crazy when he gets his picture taken. So it was kind of like watching that where like Cardi B kind of like snapped out of it for a second, and then somebody that was controlling it just suddenly hit a reset button, and then she was back to like whatever they wanted her to be.
Yeah, like she was hypnotized or she's under control of some other force that we don't know about.
Nice.
Or like Wendy Williams when she
Hey, I
when
just have
she-
it on here.
yeah, Wendy Williams passed out on live television.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of see the look in her eye like she's starting to come to, and then it's like they shut her down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody
glitched.
it's like somebody hit a switch, and they're like, all right, we gotta shut her down.
And she fell.
Eyes open.
It was like all during, I forget what happens, but behind like that, there's some sort of, was there a shooting or it was
Something crazy was going on
Yeah.
at that time, and all of social media, the number one Twitter trend at the time was her passing out, but there was all this crazy stuff going on in the world. So it's like maybe the thought is the media didn't want people to pay attention to that crazy thing that happened in the world. Instead, they used her and passing out on live TV to take the focus away from this crazy thing that happened and put it on that. And it was successful. You know, it's a distraction because people, you know, the media doesn't want you to think about one thing or focus on one thing. They want you to focus on what they want you to focus on, whether it's true or not. It's a real thing. They blow things out of proportion, you know? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think it could be very possible. I mean, I personally believe that the Illuminati exists. I believe that there's somebody that really has all the power and is controlling everything. It's a funny story. About 2 years back, in 2 of my social media platforms, I started getting messages from random people. And those random people were asking me to join the Illuminati. Now,
That's just weird.
it's very far-fetched, obviously. I don't think that they were real. I think they were scam accounts. But like when you went to some of the accounts of the person that was actually trying to convince me to join the Illuminati, their entire profile was a regular person, but they had everything about the Illuminati on their on their page, their profile. So it happened to me on Facebook and it happened to me on Instagram. I was creeped out.
when did that happen, you said?
About 2 years back.
Oh, wow.
Super creeped out. I did not like it in the slightest, especially with the fact that I believe in the Illuminati. But I never bothered responding to any of those messages. I simply went to the profiles to take a look to see. I was like, it's probably a bot account, and it seemed like real people, and I just blocked them because I didn't want nothing to do with them. Kind of like another thing that happened to me that's kind of creepy is that when I joined the military, when I came back home, I mean, it could have been my mind just playing tricks on me being paranoid, because I feel like the Army kind of like brainwashes you a little bit to think negatively on the Middle East. But
I can see that.
But when I came back, I started noticing that we had a briefing in the Army, and the briefing talked a lot about being careful not to affiliate ourselves with just random Middle Eastern people. Now that sounds kind of racist to me.
Full disclaimer. It's not about racism.
Full disclaimer, I'm not racist. I will be friends with anybody. I will have different views on beliefs, and I will make it pretty clear up front what I will fuck with and what I won't fuck with. But when I came back home, over the course of 3 years, I started noticing more and more and more random Middle Eastern Arabic people sending me friend requests. on all my social media platforms. So at the time, I had Facebook, I had Twitter, and I had Instagram, and I was just getting follow requests, friend requests from all these accounts, from just people I had no clue who they were, and they had Middle Eastern names, and the people in the pictures looked like people from the Middle East, and I'm just like, why are you randomly sending me friend requests?
Spam.
And yeah, most of it was probably spam, but like even in my head, I kept thinking to myself, I was like, what if the army's testing me? What if
His own personal conspiracy theory.
Yeah, because like I can tell you 100% that the government was monitoring my my social media platform, and the reason I tell you this is because I have my Facebook personally completely private. So if I don't know you and you went to my Facebook, you're gonna see the bare bones of my profile.
Not me. You'll see everything.
Yeah, if I don't know you,
OnlyFans.com.
like I said, my account's really private, but long story short, I went AWOL on something that I didn't agree with. I was really pissed off about it, and I had posted on my Facebook that I was hanging out at home during a blizzard, and I was just chilling, drinking a beer. And the next time I showed up, I had to answer to why I didn't show up for the state of emergency, and they essentially printed out pictures of my profile with the posts of me drinking beers and stuff and talking about what I was talking about, and I'm like,
How'd you get that?
how'd you get that?
That's a
Did you have
breach
a
of privacy.
A friend that blew up your spot?
I mean, that definitely could have been the case, but they had a screen computer still, and like people our age don't really use computers anymore. We all view it on our phone. So there's somebody controlling something, not only in the government, the Illuminati.
Probably two separate things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. There's something always like.
I mean, something
keeping
can meet right dead in the middle. I mean, we don't even know. I mean, the Illuminati could be controlling our government.
It's probably
Like,
it could be. It could be what's in the, like you said, what's in charge of that. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, speaking hypothetically, like if you did a crime or something, like they will find all that information. Like whoever's behind the scenes.
Technology's
like,
advanced, man. It's
yeah.
crazy.
So it's pretty crazy how you can think if someone could be behind that, doing all that, or just a group. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they could be watching us right now through our webcams. You're not really gonna see much. Just three guys
Print out that autopsy report.
hanging out.
Yeah.
What?
Print out that autopsy report. If anything happens.
If anything happens to us, someone make sure that Shiloh is happy. That's all that matters. He's a good boy.
He's doing the good boy.
He's doing the good boy.
He's doing the good boy.
I'm daddy father.
So, like, something that's really attached to the Illuminati
Dog.
are Freemasons.
I meant that.
But Freemasons are very public.
Did they make the mason jar?
So mad.
They have nothing to do with the mason jar.
It's a pretty relevant question.
It didn't sound like you were asking me a question. It sounded like you were making this like a fact.
No, it was a question. I said,
No.
You know, that's why I started with did. Did they make the mason jar? Question mark.
I heard they made the mason jar, but all right.
No, if they did make the mason jar and they didn't actually have a price to said mason jar, it would be the free mason jar.
Oh no, unless John Landis Mason was a Freemason, then maybe.
Wait, but was he free?
He was American.
So he's the original Freemason.
As you were
Anyways,
saying.
reel it back in.
So I saw a documentary slightly on Freemasonry, and they have like so many protocols that you need to follow, and especially to rank up. Like their religion that's its own army essentially, and they have so many people in high regards that I don't even know what they control. Like what is their mission?
To provide mason jars to all of society. We have a couple.
I definitely have a mason jar.
They're pretty great stuff. Not sponsored by mason jars.
A member of an international order established for mutual help and fellowship, which holds elaborate secret ceremonies. Secret.
Provided
Why
by
would
Google.
they be secret? Provided by Google. That is. What is that? It's probably Wikipedia.
If it's free and it's a secret,
Well, you gotta be a secret.
yeah. Is like, can you be a secret and free at the same time? Whatever, man.
I hate you.
Some of the things that go through my mind, I swear. I'm full of dry humor.
That's the best part.
I intentionally try to be corny.
Good.
It's true.
I can tell.
It's true. I mean, you live with me. You know. Say some dumb things.
You do.
You grew up with me. You know.
All my life. Yeah.
So Justin, you find anything that we should be talking about?
Your turn
That's
to talk
what
about
I-
conspiracy theory.
That's what I've been searching for. You took my Wendy one.
Oh, no. I mean, you talked about the Paul McCartney one a little bit. I talked about the, I was going to say Madagascar. Mattress firm conspiracy. My nose is itchy. Dust.
Think of something
Allergies.
else. Unless you really want to get into the JFK assassination.
Let's hear it. We talk about whatever,
So,
man.
Another so one conspiracy
Oh, I didn't
theory
even mean
that
to do that. Whatever, man.
that
It's-
held with me since 11th grade in high school in Mr. Godonowitz class.
No,
Shout out to
years
Mr.
ago.
Godon. Shout out to Mr. Godonowitz. When we were learning about JFK and his assassination and all the conspiracy theories behind that. So what happened was Oswald, I don't remember his full name. He was the alleged killer that shot JFK out of a window in Dallas. And there's actual videos of the assassination, and you can question so many things of the angles, the trajectory of the bullets, and all that, and how it couldn't have just been Oswald that did it. And then later on, Oswald was assassinated by another dude.
Oswald was fatally shot in the basement of Dallas Police Headquarters by Dallas nightclub
On
operator
camera.
Jack
That was also
Ruby.
on TV. So why did they kill him?
Yeah.
And why did nothing ever happen about it?
Right?
It's pretty crazy.
He's fatally shot by former U.S. Marine Lee Harvey Oswald,
Lee Harvey.
firing an ambush from a nearby building, according to Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And trajectory, just, if you actually watch videos, they kind of don't make sense.
And it's crazy because, imagine being the person sitting next to JFK
Mhm.
in that time,
Poor Jackie.
right?
Wasn't that his wife?
Yeah.
Yes, poor Jackie.
Holy trauma. You know,
Dude,
just
the-
boom, out
the-
of nowhere.
The caliber of the bullet that they used, his head literally split
Yeah.
apart.
Their little brain, I was just
Yep,
on the
yeah,
cut. It's pretty
you're
cool.
done. You're dead. You're
Yeah,
very
it
dead.
was, and he wasn't shot just once too. He was shot through I think the shoulder and then the neck, and also the guy that was in front of him got hit.
Governor Connolly.
Yeah.
Seriously wounded.
Seriously.
Yeah, and then when they tried to do an autopsy, his body went missing for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's
Why?
why?
Yeah. You ever hear about the presidential curse? The curse, every certain president, from a long time ago. I forget the amount, but every certain president will be murdered, and it actually happened for years and years and years, all the way up until Ronald Reagan, who actually
Yeah, I
did
heard
get
about that.
Yeah,
He almost got assassinated. Too.
yeah, he got attacked and
Mhm.
he survived it, which broke the curse. Because I think if it was according to timeline, then the next one after that would have been, I believe, Barack Obama, and he didn't get.
You know who I found out almost got assassinated too, and I didn't know? Teddy Roosevelt. He got shot while he was doing a speech. Well, no, he was in the car, and then someone shot him 4 feet away, and he toughed it out, and it was just like
What
Teddy Roosevelt was a freaking
a
man.
what a man!
What a man!
To be quite honest, I remember the day that it was announced that President Barack Obama had won the election. I wasn't able to vote yet at the time. I was over the age of 18, but I wasn't able to vote yet because I was not yet a citizen of the United States. But after everything I learned at school, and after I knew what society was like, because although a lot of bad things are going on right now with police brutality and all the movements and protests, I don't want to really get involved in that topic because we want to stay away. And it's not because we don't want to voice how we feel about it. It's just not something that we want to talk about.
It's just not
The
appropriate.
20-year presidential curse.
Um,
The curse of Tippecanoe. Tecumseh's curse.
I knew white
Typical.
supremacists were still a thing in the United States
Oh,
when
it wasn't
Barack
Barack.
Obama
It
was
was George Bush.
elected president, and every bone in my body felt like this president is going to be assassinated.
Thank God he didn't.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't Barack Obama that was according to the timeline. It was George W. Bush, 2000.
And I did not wish
Every 20 years.
anything upon presidents.
Ronald Reagan was 1980, wounded by gunshot, survived, broke said curse, and then George W. Bush survived his term in office.
Yeah, they probably upped Secret
What?
Service like crazy since
Oh, they
then.
There was an assassination attempt
Of who?
on George W. Bush.
I know someone threw a shoe at him.
Someone threw a hand grenade at him.
Oh.
Someone threw a hand grenade wrapped in red tartan handkerchief toward the podium where Bush stood as he addressed the crowd during a speech, and the grenade landed about 61 feet from the podium, so said person has really bad aim, near where, whatever.
I've
the
thrown
name
a
is.
grenade before. It's not easy to throw a grenade in real life.
No, it ain't Call of Duty, bruh.
It is not.
The grenade failed to detonate.
You got lucky then.
So it was an assassination attempt.
The part of the grenade that comes off the trigger, essentially, the way you have to throw a grenade is you pull the safety pin and then you throw it. But throwing it's not like throwing a baseball or anything, because it's heavier than a baseball, much heavier than a baseball. And then on top of that, when you throw it, the latch flies off from your hand, so it almost gives it a weird tumbling effect. So it's not like you can throw it perfect and then that's it. No, our grenade is super difficult to throw.
Yeah, it says it right here that the guy who did that later said that he threw the grenade towards the heads so that the shrapnel would fly behind the bulletproof glass. And then Bush and Saakashvili did not learn of the incident until after the rally. So they had no idea at that time that someone was
So
trying
if
to
that
kill
thing blew up,
they wouldn't know. All 61 feet away, so who knows?
no, they, I don't know. That could've
They
been
might have
loud.
been injured, but...
So I got a little
Crazy.
background on
So we'll see.
our guy Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Wait a minute.
Nice.
Hold on, before you go there, it just hit me. If the 20-year curse is a real thing, and it's still going,
The next
1980 was Ronald Reagan. President Bush was 2000.
The next
2020 would be the next year. What year is it?
2020.
Who's the president?
Trump.
The Simpsons, are they right again?
I don't know. Maybe there was a failed
With all this
assassination.
going on.
Maybe it's the next person after him because elections or something.
Well, did you hear
But
recently?
we won't even find out until next year anyway. But
Did you hear recently that he was at a rally and somebody yelled "gun" in the crowd and they have video picture of him getting taken off stage by Secret Service, and they did a full search of the entire every guest, and they found no gun.
It's a pretty crazy time right now too. So
It was a crazy time. Maybe someone thought they saw it, or maybe someone like actually had one and just chucked it. You know?
No, but they
Oh,
searched
really?
the entire venue and they didn't find
Really?
it. Yeah.
Maybe they jumped in a sewer, and ran. I don't know, but
that is a scary thought.
Bud.
that could be a recurring thing from this 20-year presidential curse.
And if
Ronald
it is-
Reagan survived his assassination, so
Assassination.
so he broke the curse, but President Bush had an attempt of an assassination
Assassination.
and survived because the grenade didn't go off and the guy threw it really far away. And then apparently this whole thing about a rally with Trump and somebody yelled gun. So it's just the assassination attempt is still potentially there, just dwindling down in severity, or attempt is failing much more. So maybe it's still
actually
a real
really
thing.
scary to think about.
So,
Shaking,
yeah.
not stars.
We'll see what happens in 2040. Will there be another assassination?
Can't imagine what it'd be like to be the president, having to think that I could die.
Fucking 2040?
20 years from now. Could be me. I could be running for president in 2040.
I could be
If
running for president.
if I ever try to run for office, I am not running for office in the year that I would be in office, 2040. First ever Filipino president. Shot and murdered. Why? Because he was the first ever Filipino president. And he
I wanna be
said,
the first ever Filipino
free
president.
Mason jars. Back in 2020.
That'll be your slogan.
Free the Mason jars.
Free the Mason jars. It's like, I don't... Free the Masons.
Free the Masons. Donate to me.
I'm pretty sure because of your ethnicity, you're not allowed to run for president.
I'm American.
No, I know. But
I was born in America.
No, I know, but because of your ethnicity, because your background is Filipino, you're not allowed to run for president. Like,
Why
no,
does it say that?
it's. I've read about it. I forgot where, but like, because one of my friends was talking about, oh, we need a Hispanic president, and I shut them down real quick because I know how Hispanics are. we don't need to be president.
Just get mad about this.
But
You put Goya adobo on everything.
that's racist.
That's messed
Um,
up.
It's not. It's awesome.
I could
love
use some
Goya
adobo.
Goya
Um,
adobo's great.
but
Chuletas.
But yeah, like even if a Hispanic is born in the United States, he is not allowed to run for president.
Why is that be he?
Or she. Sorry.
But why? Because
Yeah,
just because he had this.
I don't
Why?
I don't remember, but unless you're like 100% white or black, you can't be run for president.
And here we are in a world where we're
I
talking
will
about
be the
racism, and we're talking about equality. Justin and I are going to start a campaign in not the year 2040.
Against each other.
Against each other.
You also, I believe you also have to be older than like 45 to be able to run for president.
I think
as
it's
well.
younger than that.
It's
think it's
35
36.
or 36. One of the two.
Yeah, I think it's like 36 or something.
Yeah.
But that being
I
said,
could
we're
be the
talking about a
youngest.
world of equality. Filipinos should be able to run for president.
Vote for me.
Go back to your
Vote for
country.
me.
Go back to
I'm
your,
American.
go back to your country.
What are you talking about? Teach you this lesson, old man.
Well, he does. We gotta teach you this lesson, old man.
My leg.
But anyway, yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Earlier, I was talking about him.
Circle back.
How he just mysteriously died. So, although friends stated that Hoffman's drug use was under control at the time, on February 2nd, 2014, Hoffman was found dead in the bathroom of his Manhattan apartment by a friend.
Trust anybody.
Playwright and screenwriter David Barr Katz.
David has-
Hoffman was 46. Oh, so David is the one that found him dead. Hoffman was 46. Detectives
David.
searching the apartment found heroin and prescription medication at the scene and revealed that he was discovered with a syringe in his arm. The death was officially ruled an accident after an investigation including the Manhattan ADA Alex Spiro caused by acute mixed drug intoxication, including heroin, cocaine. Whoa, and these are things that I don't know how to pronounce.
My favorite part of this entire show, when Manny can't pronounce words.
Rather, Hoffman had taken all of the substances on the same day, or rather, any of the substances had remained in his system from earlier use, was not reported. A funeral mass was held at some church in Manhattan.
I'm gonna try.
It was attended by many of the former co-stars. Those who attended the funeral service included all these freaking people.
Hey, all you people. Hey, all you people.
Would you listen
Hey, all
to
you people,
me?
would you listen to me?
But yeah, even the description of how they found him sounds a little
Sketch.
sketch.
Yeah, like a syringe just shoved in his arm. Someone could have just shanked him with the syringe or planted it there.
Yeah, I heard a more in-depth report where they found like prescription medication on the floor. So like, why would it be on the floor?
Yeah.
If he died from an overdose, for example, he just shot up and he was sitting down. Or
He's not gonna knock
he
anything
was
over.
found on the floor, in the bathroom, but the prescription medication was found in the living room on the floor.
He would have had to like have been intoxicated or some kind of,
And he was at a good
Knocked
point
it
in his
over.
life, according to a lot of the people that were close to him. He was at a good point in his life. He had his drug consumption under control, and it could be that because like right here it says following graduation in 1989, holy crap, that's when I was born. He entered a drug rehabilitation program at the age of 22 and remained sober for 23 years. However, he relapsed in 2013. So a year before his death, he relapsed. I mean, I guess that could make it possible. Admitted himself into a drug rehabilitation for about 10 days in May that year. I don't know, man. I mean, even the scene, it still sounds really sketched out to me.
It sounds
That is
sketched out to
pretty
me
crazy.
too. Does it sound sketched out to you, listener of our podcast? Thank you again for listening to the Whatever Man Show. And that is it for today's episode. Thank you again for taking the time out of your day to spend an hour with us
With whatever.
with whatever it is we talk about. If you like conspiracy theories, shout out some of your favorite ones on the comments below, or hit us up on your favorite social media platform. Yours truly, at SalStyles87.
At Manny Beeson, Instagram and TikTok, and at Manny Beeson _
Get it
Twitter.
right. Get it right.
I would go.
Get it right. Get it right.
At JD
Right,
Angel _ on Instagram and TikTok, not Twitter, is at JD Angel Lowe's
Almost got it wrong.
on Twitter.
Almost got it wrong again. At good _ boy _ Shiloh _ on Instagram. He's right here. He's a good boy.
He
He's
is in the
my
episode.
good boy. Yes, he is. And he's got to do the potties. He's got to do that. All right. Thanks, guys, again for listening. We are signing off.